Well, hello. Let's look into the Powell Doctrine. Now, the Powell Doctrine is going to be developed by Colin Powell, this individual right here, who at this time, during the George H.W. Bush administration, is going to be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So the head of basically the Joint Chiefs of Staff is all the the leaders of each branch of the American military getting together. He is going to be the one in charge of that individual organization. He's going to have an immense amount of military power. He's going to be in on virtually every national security decision done by the United States. Colin Powell is later going to be involved as the Secretary of Defense under George W. Bush. However, the Powell Doctrine, when we're talking about it right now, and really throughout this entire time in this section, we're going to be talking about his role as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under George H.W. Bush, the senior, the older Bush, compared to his son, George W. Bush. Now, the Powell Doctrine is simply a list of questions that have to be answered affirmatively before military action is taken. So basically, you must answer yes to all of these questions. If you do not answer yes to all of these questions, you should not be taking military action against a country. Now, this is going to be looked at extensively before deciding to start the Gulf War in 1991 with Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. Now, I'm going to be looking at these questions right through here. Remember, Colin Powell, as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, is going to be really relying on these series of 8 questions when he's coming to making his decision and giving his advice to President George H.W. Bush on whether or not the United States should launch an invasion to repeal Saddam Hussein from Kuwait. Now, these questions, number 1, is it vital to the national security interest that is threatened? Okay, is a vital national security interest being threatened? So if there is the threat to the United States, and it's a vital national security threat, not something that's just a little bit of a threat, but a vital thing. If that's being threatened, you should get involved. Number 2, do we have a clear, attainable objective? So is there something that is clear that we know this is why we are trying to be doing this? It's not just getting involved and, hey, we'll get involved and figure out what we're doing later. No, you need to know exactly what is going on from the moment that you decide to launch an attack. So, for example, in the Gulf War in 1991, the attainable objective was to remove Iraqi forces from Kuwait. That was clear from the start. It was something that was attainable, and thus they went in and did it. Have the risk and cost been fully and frankly analyzed? So have we looked at the pros? Have we looked at the cons? 100% fully and being real honest with them, not trying to sugarcoat something to make it look a little bit better, but looking at it real matter of a fact. This is the best case scenario, and this is the possible worst case scenario. Being real frank and honest with the situation from the start. Have all other nonviolent policy means been fully exhausted? So this kind of goes back to the just war theory of Augustine, and we're talking right through here. Have we tried everything else? Is war the last resort? Have we tried everything else to avoid war? If we haven't, we need to try that first before we decide to get involved in war, taking away someone's life and risking American soldiers. Is there a possible exit strategy to avoid an endless entanglement? So is there a way to get in, and is there a way to get out? Or once we go in, are we going to be stuck here forever? If we're going to be stuck here forever, we really should not be going in, because it's going to cause more harm than it is good, and this is what's talking about right here in the Powell Doctrine. Have the consequences of our action been fully considered? So what are the negative things that are going to happen when we get involved? Have we looked at these? Have we figured out how we're going to address these? If we have not done this yet, we really should not be getting involved. Is the action supported by the American people? So do the American people support this action? If they don't, we probably should reconsider whether or not we want to go in here. A war that doesn't have the support of the public is a very hard war to win. A good example of this is going to be Vietnam. It was very hard for the Americans to win that conflict, and they ultimately did not win that conflict because the American public was so opposed to the conflict. And do we have a genuine broad international support? So are we supported by individuals in other countries all around the world? If it's just us, maybe we should reconsider what's going on here. If we have the support of the vast majority of the world, we should go in, and it's going to be a justifiable conflict. So these 8 questions right through here make up the Powell Doctrine. They were going to be looked at, discussed at during the George H.W. Bush administration before the first Gulf War, ultimately leading to the United States and coalition invasion of Kuwait to repeal Iraq from the region. Questions, comments, put it below. Otherwise, see you later. Good luck.